Welcome students. As I told you in earlier video that we'll study our next part of the Indian Constitution in this video. Now let's start with the next topic, and that was when it was prepared. The Indian Constitution was ready on 26 November 1949. That means the drafting work of the Indian Constitution was completed on 26 November 1949, and then after on 26 January 1950 it came into force. So with this, our constitution was implemented in India and adopted by the parliament for the citizens. Now let's see the main features of the Indian Constitution. First one is federalism, a system in which more than one level of government govern on same citizen. What is federalism? A system in which more than one level of government govern on same citizen. Like India, it has three-tier government. The first one is central government at the center, that means in Delhi, that lead by the Prime Minister. Next one is state government. That means, as you know, that every state has their own government. Like in Jharkhand, there is Jharkhand government, which is led by the our Chief Minister Sri Hemant Soren. And you know also, at present, how many states we have? We have 28 states. Okay. Now next one is municipal corporation or Panchayati Raj. So these are the three tiers of the government in India, so that we can say that our country is a federal country. Once again I am repeating, what is how you can say that India is a federal country. The definition of federalism is a system in which more than one level of government govern on same citizen. The Prime Minister, that means central government, is ruling on us, and also the state government is also ruling us. At the same time, we are governed through two different government, and we have also a municipal corporation. You know that Devghar is a municipal corporation. So all the three tiers of the government govern on us. Next one is the works are divided on the basis of subject. The central government works on union list, which have about 99 subjects. Then after state government works on state list. There are about 66 subjects in state list, and the rest is called concurrent list, and there are about 46 concurrent subjects. The next feature of the Indian Constitution is parliamentary form of government, which we have already studied. What is the parliamentary form of government? The Constitution granted universal adult suffrage right to all citizens above 18 years to elect their representatives by casting their vote in an election, and to the they elect their representative to the parliament and state legislative assembly. There are two different elections where we cast our vote. The first one is parliamentary election. That means in this election we elect our member of parliament, and another election is state legislative election, where we elect our MLAs, that means member of legislative assembly. So these are the two phases where we elect our representatives, and then they form government. This government is called representative parliamentary form of government. Now let's go through the next topic. The next one is the separation of power. Next feature of the Indian Constitution is separation of power. Indian Constitution separated the powers of our institutions, constitutional institutions. The constitutional institutions are derived as legislature, executive, and judiciary. The work of the legislature is framing laws or making laws, so that they are called lawmakers. The next one is executives. Their duty is to implement laws. When the legislature frame laws and implement on us, then the next duty is of executives that they should implement laws. After that, the next work is of judiciary. They have to upholding laws. That means they have to keep their eyes that no one should violate the laws. If they violated laws, he can punish them. In legislature, the members are known as the MPs or MLAs, member of parliament or member of legislative assemblies. In executive, we can say that the examples of executives are the president, the prime minister, and the other administrative executive. There are two types of the executives. One is permanent executive and another one is temporary executive. The permanent executives are selected. That means they become executives through the different examination like UPSC, Union Public Service Commission, JPSC, Jharkhand Public Service Commission. They become district collector, IG. These are the people who are related to the permanent executive. That means they can only be removed after completion of his term of retirement. The temporary executives are the president, which has 5 years limitation. Their term is of maximum 5 years. Next one is the judiciary. As you know that there are 3 tiers of the judiciary. One is Supreme Court, which is the highest judicial authority. Another one is High Court, that is the second highest judicial authority and the highest authority in any state. And the last one is district courts. Okay, so these are the judicial institution. Now, as I told you, the powers are already separated among them, and so that they cannot influence in each other working, but they can check each other that they are working properly or not. The next feature of Indian Constitution is fundamental rights. Our Constitution provided us several fundamental rights. There are 6 fundamental rights, and fundamental rights we got by birth. If we are the citizen of this country, there is no need that you have to ask for your fundamental rights. Okay, basic reason to add fundamental right to ensure basic rights to all citizens. What are the fundamental rights? The first fundamental right is right to equality. Second one is right to freedom. Third one is right against exploitation. Fourth one is right to freedom of religion. Fifth one is educational and cultural rights. And last and sixth is right to constitutional remedies. Let's talk about the fundamental rights. The first one is right to equality. Our Constitution has given every citizen the right to equality. That means all citizens should be treated equally. They should not be discriminated in any form of the life, either with the religion, or with the caste or with the culture or with the language. Okay, everyone are free to follow any religion, any caste, any culture, any language. Okay, next one is right to freedom. Right to freedom, that means no one can make slave to anyone. Okay, everyone are free with certain restrictions which are implemented by the constitution. That means the peoples or the citizens are controlled only by the constitution, not by any particular person. Okay, otherwise all are free to move anywhere, to do any work, but you have to keep it in your mind that you should not do that kind of act which is against the law, against the constitution. Next one is right against exploitation. Exploitation means shoshan. No one can exploit any person, any people. Okay, like as you know that now the government has made a law under this fundamental right, the child below the 14 years of age should not be engaged in any hotel or any hard physical work activity. Okay, they cannot sell tobacco or any drug or any illegal items which is not for the good, not good for the society. And if someone is doing that, they can be punished. If someone has done work, then it's responsibility of the person whose work he has done. He should provide him the money against the work. Next one is right to freedom of religion. We are free to follow any religion or to not any. That means the constitution said that our country is a secular country. Okay, and everyone is free to follow any religion. In which religion they believe, they can follow, they can practice, and they can propagate. Okay, and no one can restrict them in any particular religion. Next one is educational and cultural life. It's a right of education. As you know that right to education is implemented, and according to this law, the children between 6 to 14 years has the compulsory education, right, and no one can prevent them to take the education. Cultural right, we have the right to preserve our culture too. Right to constitutional remedies. This is the lock of the fundamental rights. This is the security lock of the fundamental right. If any of the fundamental rights, anyone is violated or restricted by any person against any person, then that person may go directly to the High Court of or Supreme Court for the remedy against this, and his case will be heard in this case, this courts only. So students, these were the features of the Indian Constitution that we have studied now. Now there are some more topics which we have to study, and that topic is actually the fundamental duties. We will study this topic in next video. Hope this video will help you to understand the features of the democracy. So let's meet in next video. Till then, goodbye.